Hello and welcome to the show. For those of you listening for the first time, I'm your host. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm a former lawyer turned business consultant, and what I do here every day is I solve business problems. And the business problem that we've been trying to wrap our head around for the last 2 days is on how to close the deal. And in the last episode, if I remember correctly, I think we went over two different the main thing that we went over in the last episode was just two main ideas about what closing is. So we went into this whole Nigerian idea about, closing is you're collecting your money one time, in the first interaction or reasonably soon thereafter. And I hope I was able to convince you all that that idea about closing is limited and only works in a simple sales scenario. But then for those of us who are in complex sales scenarios, when a little bit more sophisticated business context, you're better off thinking of closing as trying to get a commitment in each interaction that you have. In other words, by the time you're talking about complex business solutions that cost a lot of money and you have to be negotiating with multiple parties and the sales cycle is going to last a long time. Let's see what else. When you're in that kind of scenario, basically, you need to see how you close the deal step by step by step. And yeah, that's what we did yesterday. So today we're going to look at particular schools of closing. Let me just put it that way, particular approaches. Because when a lot of you hear closing, what you guys are expecting to hear is, if somebody says this, then you say that, then you close the deal. And okay, well, deliberately I avoid discussing things in that kind of way because I don't want to reinforce this idea that sales is a collection of magic phrases. But this is going to be the closest that we are going to get to looking at sales in that kind of perspective. So today we're going to start looking at some particular things here and there. Sorry, I am not going to give you any magic phrases. I'm not going to say this and then say this and then the person will just send you 10 million into your bank account. So we're not going to discuss it at that level. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, before we continue, for those of you who would love to connect with me, you can call me, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080 And in that regard, I would like to shout out Maria from Lebanon, who sent me a message earlier in the day to get added to the WhatsApp group. So, Maria, thank you very much for listening. It's nice to know that I have listeners in different parts of the world. And yeah, I hope your time in the WhatsApp group is going to be well spent. And of course, Maria and any other person listening, I'm always a DM away. So if you have questions, you have comments, you have queries, the number is 080 And if you want to be added to the WhatsApp group, just like Maria from Lebanon, then you send me a WhatsApp message. I'll send you the link. You get added to the group. Now, the chief benefit of the group is this: not everybody has 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes every single day to listen to this podcast episode. I get it. It can be a huge time commitment. So, if you join the WhatsApp group, I put PDF summaries there every single day, 3 to 5 minutes, very easy to read, bullet points. You can just get in, read, and then get out, and then apply. Then, when you have a bit more time, you can come back over here to the podcast and listen to the longer episodes. All right, sorry, forgive me for sniffling. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at types of closing. Before we begin, this is one of those things that the matter never ends. So there is no way I'm going to be able to exhaustively tell you every single type of closing that exists in the world. It is always ongoing. Apart from that, people describe different types or different tactics or different philosophies using different names and stuff like that. So there's no way that we can come up with an exhaustive list. So for the people that were part of the cohort when we had these lectures from the 19th of January 2026, what I was trying to do was just to show them different groups or different schools of closing or different ideas around closing that they could try in their business and then be more um, successful. Now, the reason why all this is important is because lots of Nigerian business people, unfortunately, are very competent when it gets to the proposal stage or the presentation stage. So buy from us. We are the greatest. We're the best. We're the fastest. We're the cheapest. We're the this. We're the that. We're the the whole everything. But then what happens for the typical Nigerian business person is they make the presentation and then they keep quiet and then they sit down. You show up to the meeting. The PowerPoint is lovely. AC tight. Everybody looking like professional businessmen and businesswomen. You make a lovely proposal, make a lovely presentation. Everybody clap hand for you. Then you sit down, and then the client says, "Oh, thank you very much. You've given us a lot to consider. My team and I will get back to you. We'll be in touch." The reason why all these things happen. Thank you for the presentation. Can you send it to me in an email? Or, oh, that was absolutely wonderful. You've given us lots of stuff to talk about. I mean, to think things over. My team and I will be in touch. All those kind of responses, all those responses that are not sweet, not favorable. The reason why we end up in that kind of spot is because we didn't try to close. We didn't try to ask for the commitment. So that is why this is really important. Because too many Nigerian business owners just give a wonderful presentation and then they keep quiet. So like back when I was in the event space, you show the sample, they look at it, they're like, wow, 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 wow. They like everything. And then you just slide over your what's it called? Your package. Gold package, silver package, platinum package. You just slide over the thing to the bride and groom. And of course the bride and groom will say, thanks, we'll get back to you, we'll get back to you. Of course, that's what they will say. You didn't slide it and then ask them, of these options that we have here, gold, silver, whatever, which one are you interested in? What does it look like we're leaning towards? Which one seems to rock your boat? Like you didn't ask anything, you just slid it over. Of course, they will tell you, we will get back to you. Let me think about it. Or we have to discuss. Of course, they will tell you all those things. We need to learn to ask for the commitment. That essentially is what closing is. So even if you collect the money in one lump sum, on the first day, or maybe 2, 3 days afterwards, you are asking for the commitment. And even if you believe in closing sales one small step at a time, like I'm trying to teach y'all on these podcast episodes, you are still asking for a commitment. You meet somebody on the floor, like I would, you say, hey, why don't you come over to the table? I'm asking them to commit to something. They come to the table, we talk, 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 talk. It looks like there's progress. I try and get their phone number. I'm asking them to commit to something. They give me the phone number. And then I call. I say, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. So, sorry, who is this? Who is me now? That Benway boy from Brides and Babies Bridal Fair. Oh, Benway boy. Yeah, I remember you. How have you been? I'm good. Blah, 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 blah. Are you available for Tuesday? This, that, that. Yes, 4 o'clock. Okay, we'll meet at Sedi Plaza. I've gotten them to commit to another thing. So just get into the habit of any interaction, they must commit. They must commit. They must commit. If you make a proposal, you didn't get them to commit, they will say, let me get back to you. Let me think about it. Oh, I'm in a hurry. I'm late for another meeting. Just send this thing to my secretary. Send this thing to my PA. My PA will be in touch. That kind of thing. All right. So, what are the different types of closing or the different approaches? Now, I always start off with assumptive closes. Not because they're the best, though. And please, remember, when we talk about these things, there's no best. It's just that some will blend with your personality, some will blend with your how will I put it? Some will blend with you more than others. So the one that seems to be easy, just take it and run with it for now. Don't worry about the best. Run with that one for now. Over time, you will refine it, you will perfect it, or you will see that it is limited, you will ditch it and you start trying other ones. But for now, any one that you hear that just sounds comfortable, just be running with that one. That's the criteria when it comes to closing. For now, don't be, all those people who get into all these unnecessary quarrels online, which is the best closing style. And look, don't follow them. The one that sounds like, okay, I, I think I can say this. Just go with it. So I start off with assumptive closes because for me, that's just the one that, you know, naturally, that's the one that just falls inside my mouth. Now, assumptive closes is just when you assume that the deal is your own and then you just ask for it. I repeat, in assumptive clauses, you just assume that the deal is your own, and then you just ask for it. So we currently just finished negotiations with the British Council to produce a documentary for them. It's the SIDP. The SIDP is the Skills and Inclusive Development something. I mean, Skills and Inclusive Digital. I can't remember anyway, but it's a program that is organized by the British Council in collaboration with the King's Trust and is organized in Kano, where they try to expose women, what else? Women, people living with disabilities, and of course, people who are living in, I won't say indigent poverty, but trying to expose these class of citizens to digital skills, digital technology, things like that, and to try and show them how it can improve their businesses. Now, it's a project that we handled for the British Council 2 years ago, so I'm happy that we're currently working with them again to produce this documentary. And so for me now, the close was assumptive. We talk back and forth, blah, 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 invoice, this, call them, quarrel, this. And I just said, how soon can the PO be ready? PO just means purchase order. You see, assumptive. I just assume that the deal is my own. I just assume. And I said, how soon will the purchase order be ready? In that kind of scenario now, if somebody says, oh, the PO will be available by Monday, it's a done deal. I say, how soon will the PO be ready? They say PO will be ready by Monday. Okay, that means it's my own now. It's my own. So if I call them again on Monday, it's a matter of, okay, has the PO been approved? Oh, fantastic. Then next will now be, okay, how soon do you want me in the field? You see, every step, I just they assume, I just they assume, I just they assume. I'm just assuming that my own. If it's not my own, they will tell me that, oh boy, take it easy. You're running too fast. You're faster than your shadow. But that's the assumptive clause, essentially. You just assume this thing is my own. And as you're talking, you're asking for commitments as if now you be the guy in charge. So that's all. And the reason why that one is in my mouth is just because when I was um, a youngster, okay, well, I'm still young, but when I was a younger youngster growing up in Lagos, my teenage years, those days now, fuel scarcity, learning how to drive. So you carry mom's car, carry popsy's car, you go and queue for fuel, all those kind of things. So that's how one day now the battery just ran down. I don't know how the battery ran down, Sha. But back then batteries was not expensive. Like even all those expensive ones, like 4K, 5K, you buy one battery. So I had some change in my pocket. First, I went to battery charger. They cut open the battery. They did this battery charging thing. Then the thing still ran down. I said, you know what? I have some small change. Let me just go and buy a brand new battery. So I went to Ikeja on that bridge. Not on that bridge, like the main under bridge. The under bridge side that is closer to the hospital, the general hospital, and where where NEPA office used to be. There was also one filling station there, so closer to that side. So I went to one Igbo boy now, one Igbo guy, and then we're talking about battery. So as he was telling me everything now, I was considering, and I was quiet. So the guy just asked me, he said, "Bros, where's your car?" I said, "That one." He said, "The black Toyota, Abi?" He said, "Yes." Then the guy just said, "Chukudi, go and bring two Korea." I said, two Korea how? Is it not just one car? Like, guy, calm down. We haven't finished now. You see? But we were talking. I was, in my fields, calculating the money in my pocket. And then he used an assumptive, like trial close, to bring me back, to snap me back to reality. Which car is your own? That one over there. That black Toyota Abi. Okay. Chukudi, bring two Korea. That's an assumptive close or an assumptive trial close. If at any stage the person tells you, relax, calm down, the person has checked you that, okay, look, we're not there yet. We're not at the stage of the close. So if the guy said, "Where's your car?" And I said, you're asking me for my car. Why now? You see, that is me now checking him that, look, you're running too fast. Calm down. We've not finished. And funny enough, another Igbo guy, pulled the same thing on me when it came to tire. It was the same move. The same move. Which guy is your car? That one over there. Oya Chinasa, go and bring four Bridgestone. I said, four Bridgestone how? Relax. Did I tell you I want to buy four? It's only the two in front that is condemned, you know? But see, assumptive close. So because as a youngster, I saw in Lagos some Igbo boys trying to pull that move on me. So, you know, by osmosis, that's how the thing just entered my body. And me too, that's how I just they do assumptive close. I will talk as if it's a done deal, as if it's my own. Now, the benefit of an assumptive close is if you're assuming too much, they will check you, they will block you, and then you now know that, oh, okay, I need to start again, or there's some steps that I've missed. So, it's not the best. It is not the best. I'm just doing it because that is what comes naturally to me. Growing up in Lagos, those are the kind of moves that I was seeing from other people. So, when I entered into business for myself, it's just the kind of move that I started pulling off. So, assumptive close. As people are talking, assume that is your own. Then go ahead and ask for the deal. So, like this British Council thing, I assumed that the thing is for me. I know that they're talking to two or three other people. I just say, how soon will the PO be ready? That's all. If they give me an answer, it means that we're heading in the right direction. But that in that kind of situation, they can also say, PO, we have not gotten to the stage of purchase order yet. We have two other vendors on file, and the committee is still deliberating so that we can pick the best offer. So you can see how even assumptive close, we even get them to disclose some information to you. So you now know that, oh, okay, I guess all is not pure like I was thinking. But anyway, that's some assumptive close. Assume and then ask. Then there's another close, which is a summary close. Again, the summary close is not the best. Do whatever seems to work for you. But summary closes, I included it also here because it's also something that comes naturally to me. Now, summary closes is when you will have been talking back and forth, talking back and forth. You will now repeat everything. You will summarize everything in a very simplified fashion. And you just ask the person, like, okay, is everything correct? If the person says, yes, everything is correct, you will now say, okay, now, if everything is correct, the next step is we suppose, and then you now propose what the next step is. So, back to this British Council thing now. If I was going to do a summary close, Okay, it'll be a matter of me calling maybe project manager. I say, oh, madam, yeah, it's been nice talking to you this past couple of weeks. So far, if I understand correctly, this project, we're doing like this, we're doing like this, we're hoping to achieve this, we're hoping to achieve this, Abby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then for deliverables, we're looking at this timeline and this timeline and this timeline. So that means you want the finished product to be ready by this time. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, and then the finished thing, you even want it to be on social media, and then some of it you're going to use at this training, Abby. Yes, blah, 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 blah. And then for the budget that we discussed so far, it's as if the whole committee, everybody's on the same page, Abby. Yeah, everybody's on the same page. Okay, then, in that case, Madam Project Manager, me, I'm thinking the next step is we should be looking towards PO. Abi, how you see him. That'll be the attitude. Summarize everything from beginning to end. If they say yes, 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 everything is correct, then propose the next step as you see fit. In fact, this my guy, Shagun, that we used to do video together. That was his thing. Summary close. We said, ah, mommy, okay, so like this, like this, like this, Abby. We're doing lighting and sound, Abby. And doing this, doing this. Okay, the date is so, 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 and so, Abby. Okay, and blah, 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 blah. And then all these ones that we're looking at now, it's like these are the kind packages you're looking at, mommy, Abby. Eh, okay. So if it's like that now, to confirm your date, mommy, what we need is a deposit in the amount of, and then he will call a specific amount. And this is where some Nigerian salespeople make mistake. So there was a lady that was trying to coach. She would say, "Oh, we need a deposit of 80% to begin." Like, no, like make the person's job easy. You don't say we need an 80% deposit. Make the thing specific. Tell Oga that, oh, we need a deposit of 3.26 million to confirm your date or to confirm this or to, whatever. Make it specific. You don't just tell somebody, oh, we need an 80% deposit. You want the person to end the call and start calculating by themselves what an 80% deposit is. You know? Anyway, for those of you who say we need a deposit of 50%, it's better than nothing. But the best thing to do actually is to say, oh, to move forward, we need a deposit of 12.36 million naira. Just don't give them too much homework. Just say it as it is. It would also help because when you are now trying to follow up, you can be following up on, like, you can speak fairly specific. So we're expecting a deposit of 12.36 million naira. Oh, okay. Okay. So, sir, does that mean that by Tuesday morning, I can expect the people in finance to confirm a credit of blah, 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 blah to your account? Very, very specific. You see what I was saying about closing? We're just asking for a commitment. We're asking for a commitment. It's something I learned, during the toasting stage, me and my girlfriend, although she's my wife now. Been married for, don't they reach like that kind of 15 years. So, sometimes we talk about the early days and how we started and how she was giving me some grief. And the way she put it was like, that no, that I was not giving you grief. You didn't ask me anything. And I'll tell her that, come on, what do you mean now? Like I was hanging around you and this and this and that and that and that. Like, what were you thinking? Say, hey, you didn't ask me anything now. Now, if you ask me something, I will know. But you wanted me to now use my own mouth or use my own leg and now start walking as if we're in one accord. So that if anything happened, I will now be saying that, oh, she's forcing herself on me or something. So even in relationships, it's the same thing. Same thing as a relationship, same thing as business. So, boys, you're hanging around a babe. Don't just assume that she knows what's up. Somehow, you should be asking for commitment. Small, small, small. You'll be moving the relationship forward, and she too should know that, okay, we're on course, we're moving in the right direction. So it's the same thing in business. Ask for a commitment. So summary close. Summarize everything from A to Z. If they say yes, good. Propose the next step. Now the beauty of the summary close is as you're summarizing, if you had made mistake, if you have made miscalculation, they will check you, they will tell you. You say no, 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 no. We're actually not looking at this date, we're looking at this date. Now if that affects anything significant on your own end, how much you're supposed to put in the invoice or whatever, and you can go back to the drawing board. But that's also the beauty of summarizing. If you summarize and your understanding is off, at least they will tell you now. You will know where the problem is. Then there's a question close. How will I describe it now? Okay, you know what? I'm making this recording late at night. So the way that I will describe this thing and teach it to you, honestly, the thing has just escaped my brain. But there's one kind of question close that I have been getting somebody to try out because for her, she's been saying that, oh, they're ghosting me, they're ghosting me, they're ghosting me. And I told her that, okay, look, did you try a question close or did you try a question trial close? And the one that I suggested to her was just to ask, that, okay, bros, from what we've been talking about so far, is there any reason for us not to move ahead? Then keep quiet and then hear what it is that they have to say. You just tell the person, sir, madam, chief, blah, 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 blah. So, if my understanding so far, whatever is correct, is there any reason to stop us from moving ahead? Then you keep quiet. Now, she has been applying it because it works for her personality, for her style, for her whatever. So she's doing it. See, this is what I mean by, there's no perfect. Start with the one that you're comfortable with first. As you grow and as you evolve, you will improve or you will set it aside and you will adopt new ones. But the moment I told her, she started using it in a very slavish manner on every single phone call. And she started getting some interesting responses. Somebody will say, no, we're not ready to move ahead because I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I need to consult with this, or I need to do, you see? But once they say it like that, at least now you know that there's another hurdle that we need to overcome. You'll be in that situation where you will say, oh, Mr. Tavishima, I'm trying my best, but he's not picking my calls. Is there any reason for us not to move ahead? If the person says, well, actually, I think we've covered it pretty much. I think we're ready to move ahead. In that case, what are you waiting for? Ask for the commitment. Okay, sir, fantastic. I'm really happy to hear that, sir. So to move ahead, we need a deposit in the amount of 26.345 million naira to uh, start the project. Ask for the commitment. So that's a question closed. But you know what? I will, when my brain is fresh, I'll rethink again of how best to describe that whole school of a question close. But for my good friend Cinderella, for those of you who remember those episodes, that's not her real name anyway, but I called her Cinderella. That's what I just taught Cinderella, and it's been working well for her. It's not as if she has started closing plenty deals, but at least now she's getting plenty understanding, and she's no more in that situation where she will say, "Oh, Mr. Tavishima, I've been trying, but he's not picking my call. She's not picking my call." So that one has gone down. Is there any reason for us not to move ahead? You ask. Then there's the either or close. Either or close just means you give somebody options and then you ask. It's that simple. So, for those of you in the event space, the thing blows my mind. There was one guy, I hooked him up for a meeting. He's a wedding planner. The meeting went well, was rapport with the bride. They were talking, 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 talking. And then the lady said, so how much is this going to cost us? See, I'm not I'm not lying to you guys. I'm not shitting. Hmm. The guy said it audibly to her hearing and to my hearing. I was there in the meeting. He said, "This is the part that I hate the most." He said it. I was shocked. Then he now opened his flyer where, all these brochures now, gold package, platinum package, silver package. Excuse me. Then he slid it across the table. And then she picked it up and looked at it. I was just like, okay, we'll be in touch. That's how the meeting ended. I could not believe what I just saw. First of all, he used his own two mouths to say, "This is the part that I hate the most." Then he removed the thing. Why would you say that? I had to caution the guy. I said, "Look, dude, when I set you up for meetings again, look, not be so like we're trying to make some money here. I'm laying you up so that you will close the deal. Then you will give me my commission. How will you say this is the part? This is the part that I hate the most." Anyway, option close. So you have gold package, you have silver package, you have jubilee package. No problem. Present the options and then ask. So she says, "How much is this going to cost us?" You just say, "Okay, from all the things that we've spoken about so far, from all the things that we've spoken about so far, the this, the that, these are the options that we have on the table." And then you slide the thing to her, and then you move your chair, and then you sit right next to her, and then you're like, "Okay, for this particular idea that you said, there's this option, for that particular this option, this one." So we could be looking at, you know, 800,000 on this, or 1.3 million on that. Which do you seem more interested in? Which looks like a more reasonable investment for you? Or, which one do you see yourself, smiling at? I don't know. You just come up with a way, Sha, but that's the option close. Based on all the yarns that we've been doing back and forth, it could be like this, it could be like this. These are the options. Which one do you like? That's the either or close. Give them options and then ask. So, all of you that like to do gold package, silver package, bronze package, whatever, as you're talking to the people, figuring out what they want, and it's now looking as if, oh, this person is platinum package or jubilee package. When it gets to the point of the money, you will slide the thing on the table. In fact, I don't even like going with all the printed material, but if you must, you slide it on the table, and then you point at the silver and you point at the jubilee, and then you will ask, which one are you more comfortable with? Which one do you like? Which one do you think your husband would be much more interested in? Which one do you think your parents would like? Which one looks like a reasonable investment for you? Which one will be an easy out of pocket expense for you? However it is you want to say, Isha, but ask. Ask for commitment. In relationship, ask. In business, ask. That is all the either or close is. You give them option two or three, then ask. Don't give them four options, don't give them five. If you give them six options, you have lost the plot. You will confuse them. Please, you want to give somebody options, give them two, maybe three. By the time you hit four, you are stretching it. If you enter five, six, you have you're the one that has scattered your own, like you use your own hand to destroy the whole thing. Five options, six options. They will say, "Let me think about it and get back to you." So that's an either or close. Then there's also the how do I put it now? Like scarcity close. That whole now or never something. Oh, 70% off available before March 31st, 2026. So we're talking today. Today is March 27th. If you want to take advantage of this thing, it's either now or next tomorrow. That's like the scarcity close, like now or never. This is the deadline, no, now or never. This is how much we're going to get for the discount. It's now or never. I've spoken to my Oga. Oh. My Oga said we can remove 25% provided you pay before December 1st. So we gas move. Oh. So that's like the now or never thing, the scarcity thing. Now, me personally, I advise against scarcity clauses because they're kind of artificial. They're kind of artificial. If there is a strong reason, like, oh, honestly, we only have three left in the shop. Oh, that one is different. If there's only three in shop, there's only three in shop. But this whole thing of 20%, before December 1st, you see, our customers, our potential clients, they're not stupid. They know that by the time it gets to that level, we're desperate. So even if Oga said 25%, if they pay before December 1st, they know that they can go and think about it. And even if they come December 3rd and they say they're ready to pay now, Oga will say, collect, collect, collect. They know. So all this scarcity thing, I beg, it's not fooling anybody. So my own personal opinion, don't even try it. Except where you have legitimate, like if somebody comes and asks me now, um, iPhone 17 Pro Max, blah blah blah. If honestly speaking, the thing is flying off the shelf. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I got distracted. Mosquito wants to suck my blood. Means I have to spray the house tomorrow. Um, where was I? So if they come and say iPhone Pro Max, and so let's say honestly the phone is moving, 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 and only have three in stock. Okay, good. I'll tell them. No, yes, so only three in stock available. But if you don't have, if you're trying to manufacture scarcity, I beg leave it. It doesn't. Nothing doesn't deceive anybody. Um, doesn't deceive anybody anymore. Especially since if you're saying that, how will I put it? Like, okay, if you're forming scarcity, people can say, I beg, free him, and then they go someplace else. Then there's also another method of closing where you state benefits and then you ask for the close. You say, oh, if we understand this, you understand this, my understanding is correct. So because of that, the benefit that is going to accrue to you or the whatever is this and is this and is this. Doesn't that seem like something you would want to doesn't this sound like benefits you'd want to enjoy? You ask them, and that's how you start leading into the close. You state the benefits, and then you ask for the commitment. Then there's the takeaway close. I wouldn't recommend if you're new in business. I wouldn't recommend you start with this because it can backfire. Takeaway close is when you give that kind of attitude, like, "Oh, it's as if you're not really interested," and then you pull back. The idea being that if they're interested, they'll say, relax now, hold on. I'm actually interested. But the thing is, if you're going to do the takeaway close, you have to be ready. If you ask the person that, oh, it looks like you're not really interested, and they say, nah, actually, we're not really interested now, there's nothing you can do. You've lost it. You tried the takeaway, you bluffed them, they took your bluff. If you now come and start trying to bring the deal back on the table, you've lost your leverage. So I'll recommend you that you try this if you are a beginner. So, for one of my clients who's in the software development space, that was how I got somebody back onto the table, the takeaway close, because I called on their behalf just to be sure that the quality of leads that they were getting from the advertising campaign was good. So, there was one guy I've been talking with. I just asked the guy straight up. I was like, bro, I don't think there's any point in continuing this conversation again now. The guy said, how? And then I summarized the whole thing. I said, because if I understand correctly, this, that. It looks to me like you guys not really interested in the project anymore. That's how the guy now said, me, I was even thinking that you guys are even soft pedaling because of this, because of this, because of this. That look, we are ready to move. Oh. We're ready to move. These are the new specs. If you add it on board, just tell us how much we're ready. So you see, that's how I revived that conversation by doing takeaway close. Just calling them up and say, "Oh boy, it's as if you guys are not serious. So let's just end this thing like this. You're not interested, so Let's just cancel this thing. And then they flipped it back, say, we're the ones that we're waiting for you now. You see, so that's the takeaway close. Or maybe you guys are not really interested anymore. Or, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Of all the options we've discussed, I don't think we have anything here that can address these particular problems that you have in mind. So, sorry, sir, I'd have to recommend that you go someplace else. You know, that kind of statement. If the person now says, no, 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 actually, I'm interested in this and this and this, and even though it's not quite what I was looking for, this last option that you discussed, yeah, is something that can work. You see, the takeaway close has kind of worked. Then, okay, 40 minutes. Let me just stop at this next one. I first heard it on Brian Tracy, Puppy Dog Close. That's where Puppy Dog Close, how will I describe it now? Okay, well, it's like a trial close, basically. It is a trial close. So, Puppy Dog Close, for them in America now, selling pets. Momsy and Popsy enter into the shop. They look at the dog, they look at the bingo, or they look at the golden retriever, and they seem to like it. And you just say, it's a cool dog now, it's a correct dog. Just take it home. If the children like it, no problem. Call me, then we'll discuss money. If the children don't like it, bring it back. That's puppy dog close. The idea behind the puppy dog close is if somebody should do a trial and they like it and they get invested, after all, they're already holding it. Good. You're now in a strong position to negotiate something. So that's the idea behind the puppy dog close or the trial close. So for those of you professional salespeople who run around talking about what's this thing called now? What do they call it now? Product led closing. Product led. You're talking as if people have created something new. Like, see, this thing is not new. People have been talking about these things since 1970, God knows when. It's just a variation of this close. You have something, you want to give them a small taste. Once they taste it, if the thing sounds sweet in their mouth, if they like the experience, you can now start talking, oh, well, how much? Because you've now seen that they like the thing. So that's the idea behind the puppy dog close. But like I said, hmm, remember that when it comes to closing, all these closing techniques, closing style, or whatnot, is a conversation that never ends. We'll start today, we'll continue talking until next year, we will not have finished it. So it's also one of the reasons why I recommend that if you're worried about closing, this is why I recommend don't start at this level because you confuse yourself. Should I be doing assumptive close? Abi should I do summary close? Abi should I do question close? Or Abi should I do Benjamin Franklin close? Yeah, that's also another one that I learned early from Brian Tracy, the Benjamin Franklin close. That one involves listing the pros and the cons. You say, oh, madam, based on all the things we've discussed, all of these are the advantages. All of these are the disadvantages. Madam, it looks as if the advantages are more than the disadvantages. What do you think now? So that's the Benjamin Franklin close. List all the good things on one side, list all the bad things on one side, and you just tell the person that all the good things outweigh all the bad things. So we should be going ahead now. I'll be how you feel. How do you see it? So if you come at this level, should I be doing Benjamin Franklin close? I should I be doing takeaway close? Or should I be doing either or close? Should I be doing assumption? You confuse yourself. So this is not where we start the journey. Looking for closing tactics. They're going to use and hook somebody. Start from the top. Make sure you learn how to identify the right prospect. When you identify them, make sure you learn how to approach them. When you approach them, make sure you learn how to open the conversation right so that you can build rapport and understand what they need. When you do that, you will now learn how to make an effective presentation or proposal based on that info that you have learned when you are opening the conversation. While you are doing that, get into the habit of securing commitments, small, small, small. securing the next step, securing the next step. When you do it like that, all this thing of which kind of close should I use becomes a whole lot easier because the foundation that you have laid in the beginning, the way you open the call, will just lay the ground smooth for you to try any of these small, small tactics that you've been learning. So for some of you, that's the mistake you've been making, and that's the reason why you've been struggling. You started by researching closing techniques, and you've been going into conversations wondering, oh yeah, now, when can I do Benjamin Franklin close? Oh yeah, let me give them Benjamin Franklin. No, it's not like that. Or oh yeah, let me give them assumptive close. No, 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 it's not like that. You've been starting from the back. Let's learn how to start properly from the front. Something I tell lots of people that I work with. Too many of you are preoccupied with closing the sale. It's not about how you close, it's about how you open. If you open the conversation well, if you open the sales well, the close will follow. So, yes, be learning all these closing thing. But the main thing is not how you close the sale. Oh. The main thing is how you open the sale, how you open the conversation. If you open it well, everything should be well. Anyway, it's 15 minutes. So let me bring it to a close. Thanks for listening. You want to get in touch with me, you have questions, comments, queries, or you want to be added to the WhatsApp group, then call me, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. You don't like all these 15-minute episodes, not a problem. Just get added to the WhatsApp group and you get all your summaries there. So, yeah, that's it. I'll catch you up at the next episode.